Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. We're sat here today with Graham Taylor, all the way over from America, and what we're going to do is a little bit of an interview, so basically we're just going to have a bit of a chat. Right Graham, thanks for coming over. I know it's been circumstances with the families as well as coming over for a bit of coaching, but we had a couple of hours last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we, what do we call it, went to the pub.
Yeah.
And we had some time there as well, and you taught me how to do play cricket, which was really good. I found that really interesting. So what is the difference between playing 501 and playing cricket?
Well, like I showed you last week, 501, you start at 501, score as high as you can, get down to a double and take it out before your opponent.
Yeah.
In cricket, there's a lot of strategy involved. You have to close all the numbers, which is 3 darts in each number of 20 down to 15, and then the ball. And as long as you close your numbers, your opponent can't score on you. But if you got a number open, you got only 2 20s, he has 3. When he comes up again, any 20s he throws and hits, he scores 20 points. And down the line. So, if your opponent starts first, he throws 5 20s, he's closed to 20, scored 40 points, so you have to go to 19 and try and get the points back. And it depends on your opponent. If he's no good, you can catch up. If he is good, like yourself, you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I'll say it was an experience, and last week was the first time I'd ever played it. You guided me through it, and I think I did all right.
Yeah, I guess you did.
It was. I've got to say, like I say, I've never played it before. But it's just, like you say, what I like the idea of it, mate. I really do like the idea of it because there's more strategy behind it. 501 to me feels like a race.
Absolutely.
Whereas cricket feels like a game of chess.
Mm-hmm.
Like a game of chess on a dartboard. I don't know what it'd be like on an electronic board, because I know the electronic board, depending on which one you buy, the actual segments are a lot bigger, aren't they?
Well, the averages in cricket, you can have 3 points per round, 5 points per round. They tend to be a little bigger in electronic darts because the triples and doubles are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
People say it's not as easy, not as hard. It depends who you talk to.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to snooker and pool. The two ball sports, the two sports on a table, but the tables are totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You've got snooker, which your angles have to be a lot more accurate because them pockets are a lot further away. Whereas of pool, the balls are a lot bigger,
and the pockets are bigger.
And the pockets are bigger, but don't forget the table's smaller, so those balls cause more of an obstruction than they do on a snooker table. On a snooker table, you've got a much bigger distance, and the balls are smaller relatively compared to the table, so you've got a lot more space, if you know what I mean, to actually get those balls.
Yeah, I played snooker while I was still in England before I went to the US, and a lot of pool players will disagree with you of which one is harder. But snooker for me all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think, to be honest with you get over to America and there's not that many snooker tables, is there?
Yeah, there isn't, unless you go to the British Embassy somewhere.
Yeah, so basically the people that are over there are going to think their game's harder. Like I would suggest that people who play 501 in England would probably think that is harder than cricket, but it isn't. Right. When you've played both the games and you've played them both, I haven't played them competitively, but I've got enough of a mind on me to understand what the strategy would be if you were playing against like a top line player. That I think would be a real good cat and mouse game.
Well, you warned me this morning that you weren't going to hold back today, so that's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, we're going to have some fun in a bit, definitely.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said before, when I got the email recap and I hit a 93.9 average in one game, that was astounding.
Well, that shows that, and it's something that, again, blowing my own trumpet, I suppose, a bit, the Dynamite Dave way has gathered pace over 6 years. It didn't start off as like, this is my idea of how to throw darts and I'm saying it's the best. I've just let it become known as that. Rather than pushing it, I'm letting other people do the singing for me. Rather than, a lot of people will come along with one of these snake oil ideas and they're trying to sell you something that doesn't really work, but they're just trying to convince you that it works. Whereas I've just allowed it to build on its own, and I've gone from 20, 30 viewers up to 7,000 subscribers, and between, I think we're hitting best part of 30,000 views a month now. So if 30,000 people are watching your videos over the space of a month, there's something in it.
Well, you know, I keep telling my friends over there, even if you don't throw exactly like Dynamite Dave, you're going to benefit just from his philosophy of how to shoot darts.
Yeah, and the thing is, you see, is people tend to have found in the experience of it that the way that it's worked with me is I've found that when people do a little bit of it and they find that it makes a difference to the way that they throw darts, they're prepared to have a go at another bit of it and stick to it, because with the Dynamite Dave way, it's like anything. It's like driving a left-hand drive car and then driving a right-hand drive car. You're changing. You've got to change.
Correct.
You've got to, your perception and everything has to change, and that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I don't know about you if you came over here and drove right-hand, but when I've drove left-hand in the past, I've been all right for the first hour or 2 hours because my concentration levels are right up here. And then when you get up the following morning, that's when you go for the roundabout the wrong way.
I tell people, you follow everybody else. Pay attention to the intersections, and the hardest part is pulling out of an intersection, making sure which lane the traffic's coming at you is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that in Ireland, and you know, it didn't take too long to get used to it, but it's a little tricky for the first couple of times.
Yeah, well, it's bound to be, and it's the same with anything that you do. And that's what I say to people about change. It doesn't matter if you're moving a TV, if you're going to take your TV off the cabinet and put it on the wall and put a chair where the TV used to be so there's more room, you've made a change to improve your environment. So you make a change in your darts to improve your darts. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, nothing ever changes, which means that it's physically impossible for you to get any better. And that has been, I've got to be honest, that has been one of the hardest things to get through to people who are set in their ways, is you've got to change to improve.
Well, I was pretty set in my ways until, you know, I started doing your way, and my stance has changed dramatically. Now I'm standing like you instead of 45 degrees to the hockey.
Yeah.
And when I first started playing darts, I was 90 degrees hockey, both toes on the hockey line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did too well, not too bad, but I gradually moved around, and when I started doing your way, I didn't have to move too far more around to, you know, get the stance right.
Yeah, so basically you got halfway there on your own volition, and then when you saw the way that I did it and the way that I said to do it, it took you that extra bit, and it's that stop.
Yes.
It's that stop that gives you that nice straight line.
Yeah.
And that's, see, the thing is that's the sort of thing that nobody else in darts had ever worked out before I did it. They just basically, you know as well as I do, it's the way I was taught. Yeah, there's a set of darts. And you just fling them at the board, whichever way you think is good. And for me personally, I watched John Lowe, and my brother was a big fan of Eric Bristow. So Roy threw Eric Bristow-ish, I threw lowish, very like deliberate and very slow. And basically, I'm not John Lowe, and he isn't Eric Bristow. So it doesn't work for you.
Right.
And that is why I've developed this system which will work for anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're male, female, young or old. That will remain with you for the rest of your life. Doing all this, as your body mass changes and as your muscles change and your mindset changes, because don't forget, when we're young, we're invincible. When we get older, we get a bit wiser.
Kind of like COVID.
Yeah, we tend to get a little bit wiser, a little bit more accepting of there is a right way to do things. Like I said, I've said on loads of occasions, and I was talking to someone only the other day, same thing, another guy had here, and I said to him, I said, have you got kids? Because he said the same thing. He said, there is no right way to throw a dart to start off with. And I just said to him, I said, well, have you got kids? He said, yeah. I said, have you got a son? He said, yeah, I have, yeah. I said, did you teach him how to kick a football? And he just went quiet, and you could see cogs going round in his head. So I said to him, I said, so you're telling me that there's a right way to kick a football? I said, is there a right way to hold a cricket bat? So he just went, well, yeah. I said, well, there's a right way to hold a dart then, isn't there? I said, there's got to be a right way. There's got to be a better and more productive and more accurate way than you're doing it now. Same with you. An hour later, totally different dart player.
Right.
Totally different dart player. I videoed him at the beginning when he threw his own way before I'd even said anything to him. Videoed it, put it to one side like we did last week. And then what I did was, towards the end of the hour, I started playing the old ones back and filmed him again and showing them side by side. And he just couldn't believe the difference. And he just said, yeah, he says, I can't believe that putting your feet flat on the floor, the difference that it makes. He said, it's unbelievable. He said, rather than leaning forward, he says, and leaning towards the board, I said, yeah, because the nearer you are to the board doesn't make you more accurate.
Yeah, I mean, when you lean that far forward, there's less weight on your back foot, and once you let go of the dart, that foot's going to come off the ground.
You're unstable. I've said that to people before when they lean forward. I've said to them in the pub, take your back foot up off the floor then, because that's what you're doing when you're throwing the dart. As your arm's going forward to release the dart, your foot's coming up off the floor. So stand there on
one leg.
I said to him, stand there on one leg and try and throw your dart, and he couldn't even hit the board with it. I said, well, there you go. I said, what you're doing, I said, is you're stabilising yourself with your back leg. I said, then as your arm's going forward, your back leg's coming off the floor. And this was just a normal situation where I was in the pub for a drink and a game of darts. I said, if I had a camera now, I said, I'd be able to show you. I said, as your foot comes up off the floor, you're wobbling all over the place. I said, and that's why your darts are going in the 18 and the 12 and down towards the 17 when you're actually aiming for treble 20. Got him stood. I mean, obviously I did it for free because I was just in the pub. I said, just try this for me. Stick your feet flat on the floor, stand upright, turn towards the board. I said, and just go like that with the dart and throw it towards the board. Bang, 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 3 darts in about that space. I said, well, there you go. I said, you've done it with your first ever visit trying the Dynamite Dave way, so what stops you from logging onto Google and just finding me? I said, find me and watch my videos, it costs you nothing. I said, then when you want some proper coaching, I said, then you come and pay for it. I said, and I'll just take you to the next level, which is what I do with everybody.
That's how I found you. I was just going through YouTube, looking for coaching videos. You showed up, and three things convinced me. You're left-handed, you shoot from the side of your head, and you're from Manchester. And I've been here ever since.
Oh, yeah. It's been a journey, I can tell you that without a doubt. Now, Dart Connect, this is another big thing of yours, which you introduced me to, and you've introduced a lot of people on the Bob Squad to. What are the advantages of using Dart Connect as opposed to something like Knacker?
Well, most of the scoring apps like that, they only do 01 games. Dart Connect, you can play any game you want. 501, 301, 701, 1001, and cricket.
Yeah.
And that's the only place I know you can find cricket. And you know, you can shoot people from all over the world just like you can on Knacker or webcam darts. The only difference is, Dart Connect, you contact your opponent, give them the connect code, they put in their connect code, and your 2 devices are connected.
Yeah.
You play the game, you're on Zoom, he can see your board, you can see his board, you know, to eliminate any cheating, which some people might tend to do. And at the end of the match, once you save the match, as long as you have an account with Dart Connect, they'll send you an email recap. It shows you every round you threw, your averages, your best shots, your best out shots. Like you shoot a ton 80, it will show up. You shoot 7 ton 40s, they'll show up.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
So basically what it is it's an information system.
Correct.
As well as being a scorer, it's an information system. And this system is the system that the PDC uses. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the PDC uses Dart Connect. That's why I was surprised that not many people use it over here.
It's growing. I think it's growing. It's growing really, really well over here. But again, it's something that takes time. And the reason for that is because you have to pay for it. A lot of people don't like paying for stuff. There's a lot of people, they don't mind when it's free, but when I've had the same thing with coaching, I've had people asking me, do I do coaching for free? And say, well, does your mechanic fix your car for free? Does your window cleaner come round and clean your windows for free?
Right.
Obviously not.
Well, you know, I mean, for a year, it's $2 a month, $24 a year, which is about maybe 18, 19, maybe, at the most 20 quid a year.
Yeah.
And for what you get out of it, it's well worth it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, if you have a premium account, you can host a match anywhere you want. If you only have a guest account, you have to play somebody who has a premium account so they can give you the connect code.
Yeah.
And you can also watch PTC matches. Any game that's going on in the world that's live at that moment, you can watch it.
Yeah.
You can't see the board, but you can see the scoring gap and see what the scores are.
That's what the darts referee does now. He has the darts connect up at the side of him, and he's like in the bottom corner of it, and he goes, he'll switch from one match to a different match, and he'll follow, say, Gurney's playing Pricey. He'll follow that to the end of that match, and then he'll swap from there to RVB playing Peter Wright.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so he opts from one to another, and it makes for a good entertaining show. The only thing that I think is a shame really is you don't get the actual footage of them throwing.
Right.
But I think, to be honest with you, if I remember what Greg said, I think that's coming.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Neil's Dart's doing it too.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, you know, he had the Dart Connect up. He was trying to shoot cricket, all 501. So I got on to try and teach him cricket a little more, but we had a little problem connecting it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I need to do, you see, is I need to get the strategy right. Now that I know the basic parts of the game, now what I need to do is I need to be playing it on a regular basis to understand how different people play the game.
Yeah, on cricket, my strategy and a lot of people to be gentlemanly, if you're 100 points ahead, that counts as 4 balls. So, you know, if you get down to the balls and, you know, your opponent has closed the balls, if you're 100 points ahead, you have time to close the balls and win the game.
Yeah.
But some people will score when they don't need to. Some guys will be 300 points ahead, they'll miss the triple 19, and they go to score more points. And it just lengthens the game, it makes it not so much fun anymore.
Yeah.
And you know...
Well, that's the bit I need to understand. Because once I know how to finish the game off in the least amount of darts, gentlemanly or not, that's what would drive me. So if closing the numbers out is winning the game, it'd be treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, and treble 17, treble 16.
Correct. And
which is the quickest way of finishing the game, but it doesn't seem to me like cricket, if you know what I mean.
Right, and you mean last week, you were kind of having fun with it, but still learning, and you're shooting 7 marks on me when you didn't need to.
Yeah, well, all I was doing was banging a treble in and then just putting 2 next to it, sort of thing.
You know.
But yeah, like you say, at that point I didn't need to score. I suppose I should really have closed
down some more numbers.
Yeah, closed down some more numbers.
Yeah.
But the thing is he could potentially close them down probably in about 3 or 4 visits, couldn't you?
You could.
You could close the game out in 3 or 4 visits.
The best ever game I ever had when I first started shooting darts over here, I hit a triple 9, triple 20, triple 19, triple 18. And there was a doubles match, and my partner closed out 17th with 3 20s, 3 17s. And then I had a triple 16, triple 15, double bull. And in more normal circumstances, a double bull is 3 points.
Yeah.
So I scored 9 marks twice in the same game. The Dart Connect, which people have to kind of realize, is that Dart Connect only gives you 1 point and 2 points. 1 for the outer, 2 for the inner.
Right.
So it's only 3 marks.
Yeah. So
but actually, what our leagues I shoot in is 5 marks. 2 for the single, 3 for the double.
So basically what it is it's horses for courses. It's the same.
Yes.
Like over here, you can go in one pub, and if you're playing round the board, they'll have one way of doing it. So it'll be like thingy. Ideal game would be double 1 3, double 4, 9 double 10, double 1, treble one, bullseye. But others play double one, bullseye.
Yeah, I didn't play so much when I was in England, actually, surprisingly enough, but that's one game we did play.
Yeah, around the board.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of different ways of doing it. Some of them, like Dredge, who's a good mate of mine, they play it twice round. But if you hit 3 numbers in a row, say you go 1, 2, 3, you go again.
Right.
So you could be halfway round the second time round before you miss.
Yeah.
And then that leaves the guy who you're playing.
Got to catch up.
Yeah, he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Which is doable if you're a good player. But like I say, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every way that people play a game in different areas, even it don't even have to be different countries. They play things slightly different, like they do over here. They play differently in like log end. There's certain log end games when you get to the higher leagues where you've got to hit 2 doubles at the end of it, and when you bear in mind the double is that thick by that wide, it turns it into a very competitive game. And there's many a time when I've played in the Queen's there, and it's been 100 darts, 70, 80, 100 darts to take a leg out.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what my average is. 20. Shh. It's normally 20. But yeah, all good fun. Good fun. So the Darts Connect, it's a payable service, but it's a value for money service.
Absolutely.
The reason I equate that out of it is it doesn't only keep your statistics. If you use those statistics properly, you can use those to improve your game. So you can see week by week how you're doing. And if you can connect that with your mental ability on that week, so basically if you can think back and think to yourself, well, that week I hadn't hardly done any practice, and then 2 weeks later you had a couple of days off before you played your match and you actually got 3 or 4 hours of practice in, and you shot a much bigger average, that's telling you then that the practice that you're doing is paying off.
Absolutely.
So it's like you say, it's a paid service, but I think it's a very worthwhile service.
And also another thing on Dart Connect is you can play against Dart Connect, and once you choose Dart, you'll be the host player. The away player is Dart Connect, and then a screen will come up. What level do you want to play? So if you have a 60 average, you can. I think that's like level 7. So you can play Dart Connect at level 7 and leave it at that. But at the bottom of that page, it'll say adaptive play.
Yeah.
So if you start at level 7, if you beat Dart Connect, it's going to go up to 7.3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So a good game, good game is to try to get from 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Because if Dart Connect beats you, it'll go down a couple of notches.
Yeah. So AI, what I would imagine the Dart Connect is trying to do is stay just above your level. Because
Correct.
if it does, then it drags you along. This is another phenomenon in darts, is if you play with a better player, they will pull you up.
Yeah, well,
So you need to try and match yourselves, but try and get somebody to practice with that's just that little bit better than you.
Actually, when you do play Dart Connect like that, it's almost a little more realistic. Because once in a while, when you're playing at a level, it'll shoot way above that level. He'll hit a ton 25, a ton 35, and a ton all in a row. He said, what happened?
So that's what it's trying to do in a small way, is it's trying to switch you on.
Yeah, but then
by driving out in front of you, it's trying to switch you on to play better.
Yeah, the mental side of the game comes in on that, because if that happens, even in real life, some guys start shooting way better than you, people tend to start panicking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Instead of, get that out of your head, relax, throw your darts, and they'll come.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, we were in the pub yesterday, and there was a guy sat at the bar, and he just, like, we were both in there, me and Dredge, and we started warming up and what have you, and you know me, I can't throw for toffee when I first start. And me and Dredge were playing, I think Dredge hit a 180 with his first 3 darts, actually, he did hit a 180. Because we went in and it was the same as when we went in. Somebody had dropped the board down.
Again?
Yeah, they drop it down for log end, because log end's at the bottom. You know that bracket that they have?
Right.
The bottom is log end and the top is 501.
Okay.
So what you've got to do is take that top bracket right to the top, slide it up underneath and slide the one under, tighten it up, and then it's at the right height for 501. Opposite way round for the log end.
Okay.
So that's how that works. But what they do, you see, is when they're playing log end, they just take the log end board off and walk away. They just go and put it back in the tub.
Don't replay, yeah.
Yeah, so whoever comes next, what they do with the 501 board is just slot it in and pull the thing down on top of it, tighten it up, put the thing on it, and it's 2.5, 3 inches too low. And you saw the difference that made when we went to start playing. And people don't think that it makes much of a difference, but it makes a hell of a difference because your muscle memory is totally different. It means that you're shooting 2 inches lower than you would naturally deliver those darts to. So then you've either got to adjust down to it or you've got to slow your arm speed down to come down. Right, so we've covered a few subjects there. So the next subject I want to cover is the bomb squad, which is like, it's Neil Migalski's page, but it was done in honour or for me, and it's run by Neil. You're the one who does all the technical stuff with Darts Connect and organising the thing of the tournaments and what have you, which is fantastic. And we've got Callum, who tends to do a little bit of the computer stuff, setting them out on so the rigs and so the actual formats and everything. All right. So what are we looking forward to in the next few months for competitions and leagues?
Well, we're going to finish this year out by getting used to doing the tournaments, used to Dart Connect, and using Zoom, and try and tweak some things, make it better. And then next year we're talking about having some leagues.
Yeah.
Because of the time differences and all that kind of stuff, you'll have 1 week to play your match. Arrange with your opponent when you can play, and then the next week you do the same thing. And then at the end of the league, we'll have a championship knockout.
Yeah.
And in between the leagues, we can have tournaments. We can have 501 tournaments, Dart Connect tournaments. Cricket tournaments.
Yeah.
Or a combination of both.
Yeah, we can play around the board as well, which is another good one for people of lower levels. Instead of playing 501, it's a lot easier to hit a big 1 and a big 2 and a big 3, isn't it? Than it is like scoring on 501.
Yeah. One thing about the bomb squad is it's based on fun.
Yeah.
Obviously there is competition, but we're trying to get 50-50 competition and fun. So
but the competition's not too serious.
Everybody will have a good time, and in order to join Bomb Squad, you have to either message Dynamite Dave, Neil Migalski, myself, or somebody like Callum.
Yeah.
They'll invite you to the Bomb Squad, and and one other thing we can do is we have a North America UK challenge.
Yeah.
Because we may be a little better at the cricket over there because you don't play so much over here. We might have a chance.
Well, that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to do it like the CDC league, because that's thing in it is it's 301 double in double out, cricket and 501.
Correct.
Yeah. So that I think would make it a nice spread across the 2 continents and make it about as fair as you could get it, really.
Yeah.
Because 301's another really good competition to have for a knockout. Double in, double out. It's what they call a Grand Prix format. And that makes it a little bit harder, but the games, because the 301 instead of 501, last about the same amount of time. Because you've got those extra 2 visits to hit that first double to get you in.
Yeah.
It's more of a competitive edge. But as you've just said about the bomb squad, it's all about the passion for playing darts. And I think that's why the bomb squad is a unique place to be. And anybody who's not on the bomb squad, I think, are missing out. All the fans on my channel and everything, if you can get yourself onto the bomb squad, do it, because it's a really fun atmosphere. It's really friendly. We don't have any messing about. We don't have anybody being mean to anybody else. We won't stand for it. And that means that you've got a nice friendly environment, and you can always find somebody to play with on there that will improve you, including me, because I go on there as well, and we can play games on there and we can improve each other.
Yeah, the few guys I've invited from the US, they had a blast the last tournament we had.
Yeah.
In fact, one of our own, David Garner, he won the second tournament.
Yes, he did.
And once they get to play more tournaments, they get to shoot against the UK shooters a lot more, they're going to get better too.
Yeah.
Because, and Callum, I'm sure he's going to be in the next tournament, so.
Callum has got some serious potential, for the future.
We're going to have to watch out for him.
Yeah, he's got some serious potential for the future. That's what I said to him. Make sure when you get on the TV that you mention me.
Yeah.